Welcome back to 12 Days of Genuine Connections Sparked by the Holidays. And today is day 11. Today I have Mieu with me today, and we are so excited to share about our experiences with the holidays and really about just making it our own and how we did it. Mieu has an interesting background in terms of that she didn't necessarily celebrate as a kid, but then as she decided that she wanted to with her kids, how she merged that and her enjoyment just in the pre-talking with her was just ecstatic. I can't wait for you to see her smile as she shares about her experience.
Oh, well, thank you, Michelle.
So go ahead and tell us about how you've made the holidays your own and about how that you took the stress out of it because you never really had in the first place, but that it just became enjoyment for you.
Yes, I didn't have anything like a lot of people in the States, or I grew up in Canada, have the stress of the holiday. We didn't celebrate Christmas at all, or the New Year. So the only celebration is with friends and at school. But I think towards the end of high school and towards in university, I started celebrating Christmas with my family. So somehow my stepfather bought a small plastic tree, maybe 5 foot tall, not very big. And being on student budget, I would make the ornaments, and I bought the stockings and stocking stuffers, and I bought gifts for every single member of the family. And my siblings only had to pay $5 to put their name on the gifts. And so that was the extent of the Christmas holiday. There was no like extra baking or get together. It was just, that was it. It was really simple. So I don't have any stress history of like holiday stress. When I started having my own kids, I started inventing my own thing. So we did, my son would actually do the cookies and milk for Santa the night before. And I just talked to him the other day, just about a week or two ago. And I said, "Hey, do you remember doing this?" And he goes, "Yeah." And Santa Claus never finished the cookies and the milk. And so I actually, my Christmas celebration has evolved over the years on just thinking of what I want to do. And I make it quite easy because we would have family and friends over, actually more like friends, because my husband and I don't really have external families around, but we have friends, and we just do a potluck. And all with my kids, we used to make cookie ornaments. And then, but then over the years, they said, "I don't want to pull pine needles out of the cookies anymore." So we still do the cookies. They're just not hung on the tree. The people complain about the hustle and bustle about the Christmas holiday, and I actually like that because I never had a bad association. So Christmas is the only time of year, and Boxing Day are the only two times of the year where I actually like being shoved and pinched and whatever, because I think it's just us coming together, and it's just crowded. And I love the noise and the lights, and I live in San Diego now, and I just like the Christmas palms, and it reminds me of like Dr. Zeus or something.
You made me think though, like that a lot of it, you said the association, like you didn't have those negative associations or that stress associated with it. So I feel like it's a learned behavior that we're putting on ourselves, but then
Mhm.
how do we break that? I mean, I love how you said that how you evolved it. Like you don't do the ornaments anymore because it's something you don't need to do. So I think part of it is also like sometimes, at least for me, like we might do some of the same things we did because we did them last year, but
Mhm.
maybe this year they don't fit with us. So it's that evolution of what works for the holiday. But I also love how you said you enjoy the hustle and bustle and the such a different perspective on it and just looking at that
Yeah,
in terms of changing it and being
right.
able to put that perspective on and say, you know what, this is going to happen, and let's make a game or make have fun doing it rather than saying, oh my gosh, I have to go do this. I have to go fight the crowds because that would be me. But I love your enthusiasm about like let's get our elbows out. We're ready. Game on.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I just embraced it because I think I do have one sad memory. My oldest was born in October, and I was like all excited. It'll be our first Christmas as a family, and it was our first tree and our first whatever. And I mean, if you have any having kids, you love buying the Christmas presents. It's just so much fun. But the sad moment was my 3-month-old couldn't even unwrap his present. So I wrapped it and then I unwrapped it. That was the saddest moment. I was like, oh.
I think it isn't until like 2 that they can actually open a gift. I feel like it takes longer than you like anticipate. And so as a new mom, you're like, well, my first Christmas with my son, he was born Christmas Eve. So we were still in the hospital on Christmas Day. But actually, I was thankful that it was my first, that it was on Christmas. So I didn't miss it like with him later on because the girls weren't there, but it was just, he was the first one. But they did I remember bringing him a little Christmas hat to put on his little head. Because he didn't leave till the following Monday. So he was in for a couple days. So, but that process of everyone has those different memories and those different holidays. And I can just remember being under the tree with him and holding this little tiny baby, like, as far and he's like this little thing for the New Year's pictures and stuff. But like, it's really just enjoying and remembering those. And I just can't get over how much the hustle and bustle, looking at that in a different perspective and knowing going in, but how can we know going in, this was going to happen, but then not have those pre-notions like, oh, I'm going to hate this. And I think that it's always working on changing our perspectives about it that's really going to help us with the holidays and reevaluating the things we do want to do. And also the gifts, you brought up the gifts and the joy of it. And honestly, for me, at times with the 3 kids, it's like, it's almost a chore sometimes with the gifts. Like, is it even? Is it this? Is it that? And like making sure like that it's fair in a way, but it can't be completely fair because they're so different. And like that negotiation, I was just doing that with my husband the other day, and that was actually a little difficult, like making sure we had that right. But then that relief from like, okay, we got it. We've got this separate. We know what we're going to do. And it takes a little bit of maneuvering, but I know, and thinking about what kind of gifts we do want to give, because we want to make sure, as I've been saying with the gifts as well, as making sure that they have some sort of connection. So we've been trying to give more things that will work together with each of us, and like games and things that we can play as a family, or things that like we know that they're going to share with each other. And actually, I usually get some kind of like affirmation books or books about kindness or something. And like this year, I found a stack of like 6 of them, and that's just a present they all have to open together.
Oh, yeah.
So I think finding things that we know are going to not just things, but things that they're going to enjoy, but also things that are going to bring us closer together in connection.
Yeah, we do something similar. I mean, everybody gets their own gift, but then we have a family gift. Usually it's a puzzle or a game that we get together. Yeah, that's right.
That's a great too, to just doing one family gift as well. And I think sometimes we might go a little overboard and we don't realize, like, we don't have a limit on like necessarily how many gifts we're going to get. All of a sudden we look at what we bought throughout the year for Christmas. We have this pile, and then we start divvying up who's getting what. And then we have to kind of like make sure that there's at least an even number for each of the kids is how we do it.
We never had that issue. If they got even numbers or not. Maybe we did take turns, but somehow the numbers always worked out fine. We never worried about it.
I don't know if it's because my husband's an engineer or not, but he will lay the presents out like in a row and make sure that like it kind of goes across, that they're kind of not necessarily equal, like, because it's not necessarily the same things. They have different personalities, but just make sure that like they each have some sort of game or they have some sort of toy. And then if we're doing clothes, they each have something like that. Like, and he goes very methodical about it.
Oh, no. It was always, they got to pick their own gifts, and then we had a shared family gifts as well. We were like more into activities more than anything else, actually.
And that's too, that was the other thing, was we were trying to figure out, like, want to give them options for activities, trying to give more experiences and well. And so even my mom decided that she just wanted to give money for this year. And so like, we're going to go to Florida. So I want to kind of give them options of what we can do for activities in Florida. And then that would be their gift from who we call Purple Grandma. Bill's mom is Blue Grandma. My mom's Purple Grandma.
Oh, okay.
The kids, blue was Liam's favorite color, so it became blue, and then Bella ended up doing purple for my mom, and so it all worked out really well. Like, they both like it, and so we ended up getting them like purple and blue t-shirts as well along the way too.
And it carried on into older years.
Yeah, my son will be 12 on Christmas Eve, so that's my oldest right now. And yeah, so it's kind of exciting. But yes, thank you so much for joining me today, Mieu.
No
and I
problem.
want to just preface again to remind people that it's making your own traditions, reevaluating, and that perspective change to make that connection, to make the connections with what you want to do for your kids, to maybe buy a family gift, something that's going to bring you guys closer together. Let's look at those connections. And speaking of connections, I want to invite you and everyone to join me for two women's circles. This is day 11, so they'll be this week, this Wednesday and Friday. The times are listed up above. Just pick the one that works best for your schedule, and let's make some connections together, and let's get rid of some of the shoulds together and take some of that space for ourselves. So come join us, and thank you again for joining me today. And happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays.